Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing match here at the Rose League. I'm your play-by-play for the evening, Captain Jack, joined by Dr. Heathen on the color roll. How you doing tonight, Dr. Heathen?
I'm doing pretty well.
Awesome. So we're getting started already with our Diamond Division playoff quarterfinals match between the Pepegas and Thx4Scrims Esports right now. Dr. Heathen, why don't you give us a quick analysis of the teams as they're coming in to Elios Well?
So this is the number 2 team facing off against the number 4. So this should be pretty even, but we see both teams on the bunker composition. One is opting to go for the Bastion right now, and that means that team's going to have a lot more shield break. Meanwhile, we see Thx4Scrims pulling out the Baptiste, which means that they should have the survivability to play around corners and possibly counter this, but it's going to be challenging.
Let's see if they can make it happen. They're already set up on the objective as they go ahead and get ready for the control point to unlock. We see the damage coming in from Nano for sure right now, destroying every shield that Goose seems to put up right now as they go ahead and start their capture of the objective, or a 50% capture. We see the immortality field come out as Nesteel ends up getting the hook on to Brainiac. The amplification matrix already out for Stutter as the Dragon Strike takes down Nano, and Stutter able to take down Prodigy. That's going to be a 2v or a 4v6 on the objective right now, as it is now going in favor of Thx4Scrims as they look to gain control. 16% and climbing right now for the side of the Pepegas, as Nesteel finds themselves at the bottom of the well thanks to the hook from the 22 guy. That will go ahead and shift it into the position for Thx4Scrims to start gaining that percentage climb.
And the Bastion
That's a Bastion ult.
There's a lot of ultimates ready. That looks like a bit of a fat finger how early it was.
Yes, it is, or it isn't, when Xander ends up falling as the Bongos comes out from Goose, looking to do some damage and keep them back, as well as the whole hog coming out from the 22 guy right there. Their goal is to keep them off the objective as much as possible. Here comes the Dragon Strike. As they go, it goes into the room, ends up missing everybody. The Nano ends up hitting Nano for show, as Kiwi ends up getting taken down by the 22 guys. Stutter coming out again with the amplification matrix. Brainiac's turret takes down Nano for show, and Nesteel ends up following up on the 22 guy. 42% and climbing right now as Brainiac takes down Arrow with the turret, and Evan gets the double kill on Nesteel and Prodigy.
And the Pepegas blew so many ults there, they're swapping over their composition to the Junkrat Hanzo. So this is going to provide a lot of shield break as well, not quite as much as a Bastion, but should allow them to take a little bit more of a mobile approach, and should allow them to play a little bit more angles here.
It is possible. Goose already starting things off, taking down Nano for show early in the fight. 70% and climbing right now for the side of Thx4Scrims. Now, which team is in? Oh, Evan coming in with the arrow after the hook from the 22 guy. Which team is currently in the second? You said it was second and fourth positions. Who's in second place?
Right now, second place is the Pepegas. And earlier in the season, the Pepegas faced off against Thx4Scrims, and the Pepegas won. But we're not seeing it right now.
Nope, not for, but it's still early. 94% and climbing right now as the Pepegas still working their way into the objective. Nesteel looking to get that hook as the beat drop comes in from Iro, looking to hold everything together as the whole hog comes out from Nesteel, ends up getting the double kill. Prodigy following up on Goose as Evan gets the Dragon Strike onto Iro. Overtime ticking away right now, 99% for Thx4Scrims as we see it roll back over to the Pepegas, not out of the fight just yet, 25% and climbing.
And we're seeing a swap coming out from Thx4Scrims. Because the Pepegas is on the Hanzo Junkrat comp, they've decided to go Pharmacy instead. Hopefully nothing should be able to hit them in the sky, and this should give them a lot of room to work with.
It is quite possible, plus they got the boot potential once again with that Pharah, so that gives them even more ability to shoot them into the well. Here comes the Bongos out from Goose, looking to get some damage in as Brainiac takes down Iroh. It's a 5v6 fight on the objective right now, 54% and climbing. The tire comes out as Brainiac gets a double kill onto Arrow and Prodigy. The tire goes into the back, takes down the Bongos as Nesteel gets the kill onto Evan. The whole hog comes out from the 22 guys. Brainiac gets the boop onto Nano for show, taking down Kiwi, and the rest comes in for Evan. Goose ends up getting the kill onto Nesteel. Overtime ticking away right now, is back in control of Thx4Scrims, and we just barely see Arrow on the trigger be able to touch objective to keep the overtime ticking away, but it's not going to be enough as Evan takes them out with the Storm Arrow, and the first match 100 to 64% goes to Thx4Scrims Esports.
Of course, I think a lot of that is going to just be the map. Well, the compositions that both teams run were very specifically compositions that really only work on well and won't work on the rest of this map. So interested to see how the teams are going to alter their plans going into this next point, because it is a lot more dive heavy, and it looks like Thx4Scrims are opting to go for that dive composition right now. But meanwhile, Pepegas are still sitting on Roadhog. Interested to see what the idea is there. No, looks like it's going to be Reaper at the last moment.
They're going to basic 2-2-2. Prodigy and Nano for show swapping over to the Ryan Zarya, with Nesteel and Arrow coming in on the Reaper and Widowmaker for this fight. Should definitely be interesting. One team also has the res advantage with Iroh on the Mercy. Arrow already getting the first pick onto Evan, who's coming in as the McCree for this dive composition. Not really typical of what you'd see, but Nesteel also gets the pick onto Goose, coming in as the Winston, as well as Brainiac. Nesteel just reaping it up right now, as it's already a 4v6 fight. Make that 3v6 as we see the D-Mech and kill, or onto Winxander and the 22 guy right there. And, and the Pepegas just barely almost getting the objective, almost totally C9'd it before capture, but went right back for it. 9% climbing.
So I think this Reaper is a really interesting meta counter, because you expect your opponent to run dive here, and the Reaper counters dive really well. But
oh, absolutely.
He gets pulled out a little bit. No, he's gonna be fine.
It looks like they're working their way well. Now they're running a dive ghost composition coming out for Thx4Scrims, looking to try to diminish the damage coming in from Nesteel, but Nesteel still taking down Goose. Here comes the Nano onto Prodigy, ends up taking down Evan as Nesteel follows up on Brainiac. Prodigy taking down Stutter. It is a kill for kill between Prodigy and Nesteel as they go ahead and push them all the way back to spawn. 45% right now for the Pepegas.
Yeah, and now we see Stutter swapping them to the Zenyatta, but Thx4Scrims is really behind that ult at the moment, and Nesteel setting up for Death Blossom at the moment. Oh, no, he's going to be taking out the fight.
And that might be why Stutter swapped over to the Zenyatta, being able to have that damage differential over distance. The 22 guy coming in with the bomb, ends up taking down Kiwi as Goose follows up on Prodigy with the Primal Rage, 71%, and climbing right now for the Pepegas, ends up swapping over at 74%. In control of Thx4Scrims Esports, now starting their long climbs at the top, 7% and climbing.
Yeah, but we're back in that situation I was talking about a moment ago. We see Iroh on Mercy. Has that been something they've been doing this whole time?
Yeah, during this match they have been.
Okay, so there is a lot of ultimates built up on the side of the Pepegas, and there's not a lot to counter it. There's really just beats, which is going to come out.
We're going to see the beat drop come in, but the Shatter's going to hold everyone in that Graviton in place, and here comes the Blossom! Triple kill as Arrow gets the fourth in that set, being booped up due to the Blossom. That's going to be a full team kill for the side of the Pepegas, and swapping the point over in their favor, 38% for Thx4Scrims, 80% end climbing for the Pepegas.
Positioning.
Yeah, and going into this next engagement, they have Nano Boost versus Graviton Surge. So Thx4Scrims might have a chance to win this out, I think, and get both teams fucked up.
All right, well, here comes the Graviton out onto Prodigy. Ends up taking down Prodigy, Nano for sure, and Nesteel with the tackle from Goose. Brainiac following up on Iroh. as when Xander gets the boot kill onto Kiwi, and Arrow follows up on Goose, and they're going to get a team kill of their own in response to the team kill they just had been in. 42% and climbing now to Thx4Scrims to the 99% lockout currently for the Pepegas.
And that's the weakness of the Mercy Ana composition. There's no defensive ultimate to counter Graviton.
But you can only get that Graviton ever so often.
Saturn lands connected to during the Nano.
Oh, that Steel coming in, ends up taking down Brainiac as the Nano ends up hitting Prodigy, I believe. Looking to follow up on that damage, takes down Goose. It's a 4v6 fight as the Diva Bomb comes out from the 22 guy. Doesn't end up getting anything as the Graviton comes out from Nano for show. Gonna allow Steel and Nano to take down Evan, and when Xander and Prodigy follows up on Stutter, the 22 guy will take out Nano for show, but Arrow will follow up on the damage, but taking out the 22 guy Goose, as well as Brainiac, the only ones left on the objective as the barrage comes out from Arrow, takes down Brainiac. Goose gets followed up on by Prodigy as the Nano comes out when Xander taken down by Arrow as the Blossom comes out now from Nesteel, looking to try to take out the 22 guy coming in as the Hammond to come in quickly. 99 to 99% currently in favor of the Pepegas as they continue to fight for control of the objective. Kiwi takes down the 22 guy after a sleep dart as the slam comes in from Brainiac. It's taken down by Nesteel. This is all popping up Nesteel right now with the triple kill on the objective. Tracer coming in as Evan ends up touching the point just barely as Nesteel pops him right between the eyes. And that is going to be an objective secured and taken by the Pepegas, making it 1-1 here on Ilios.
Score 1-1.
That was really close, but I can't help but feel that Thx4Scrims may have swapped over a little bit late off of the Winston composition, seeing that their enemy was committing so hard to the Reaper.
I
don't know if just in this setting versus some other settings where isn't seen as a hard counter to Winston pick, or if the belief was that the Diva would be able to deal with the Reaper, but she just clearly wasn't able to in that situation. And moving over towards full goats definitely benefited them later on, and if they were on it earlier, they might have won out the whole map.
Well, let's see if they can do it this time around. They're going to be moving into Ilios Lighthouse now. We've got a 2-2-2 coming back out for the Vegas again. Arrow, the only one Arrow and Iroh swapping over to the May, and Lucio gonna get taken out of the fight rather early by Goose and Brainiac, who are coming in on the dive composition with the Diva and Winston once again, and it's looking to work in their favor right now. Nesteel almost getting taken out of the fight right there as we see Goose on the point, getting the objective in favor of Thx4Scrims.
Yeah. So they do have high ground control. This is a map that favors dive a little bit more than the previous one, I think, which is kind of crazy to think about, considering dive is a meta pick on the previous map just to kind of
When Xander sending Prodigy right over the edge and the rest of them is separated, they start working their way into the back line as Goose takes down Kiwi. The rest of the team's going to end up being shut down. Evan able to get taken out by Nesteel, but the 22 guy follows up on Nano for show. Brainiac doing some additional damage as the team chases down Nesteel. The 22 guy going to get the last shot on that. 36% and climbing right now for Thx4Scrims. Thx4Scrims Esports.
And off that last fight, we kind of saw the Reaper going off on a flank fighting the Sombra. That's not really what I like to see. I like to see him more in the face of these tanks, trying to get some damage done and making space for his team, but it looks like he's going to swap over to the Roadhog. It wasn't working out, and maybe this hook will give him a little bit more value in these fights.
Maybe so. Also have the self-heal there, but still gotta watch out for that Sombra who's gonna be coming in. The barrage from Brainiac ends up taking down Nano for show as Prodigy falls to Evan. Nano coming back in as the Winston. Iroh ends up falling to Evan as well. It's a 3v6 fight, not make that 2v6 as Epic Goose ends up taking down Kiwi. 78% and climbing right now for Thx4Scrims. And it doesn't look right now like Pepegas are even going to come close to touching this objective before it goes in Thx4Scrims' favor.
What Pepegas need to do is use Whole Hog to leverage a little bit of time to build up Nano Boost, to drop on Prodigy to build. That's not gonna happen though. Iroh's taking out the fight.
Not gonna get that right there. Pepegas takes down Ero. The Nano comes in, and was that a Boostio that I heard? As Arrow able to take down Winxander, Nano for sure follows up on Prodigy. Arrow comes out with the barrage, takes down Stutter, but the 22 guy follows up on Arrow, as well as the steal during the whole hog. The only one left is Nano for show, using the high noon to solidify the 22 guy dying in that fight, and we will end up seeing Pepegas at the 99% mark go ahead and take the objective, and everyone is back in the fight, ready to defend. 24% and climbing to the Thx4Scrims 99%.
Yeah, but that puts them in such a challenging spot. They can't lose a single fight for the rest of this series, and they're going against the Sombra, who is very much that uses one ult to win out a fight there.
Pretty much, and especially when you got to stay on the objective, that's going to keep them very close as well. Arrow almost getting booped off by Epic Goose with the Primal Rage, as Stunner comes out with the Valkyrie, ends up taking down Arrow with that Battle Mercy. Here comes the barrage out from Brainiac, ends up taking down Kiwi, but Nest Steel ends up getting the hook on Brainiac and taking him out as well. The 22 guy gets the double kill onto Prodigy, and the Steel as the risk comes in for Brainiac, swapping back over to the Thx4Scrims favor. They're gonna launch the Diva Bomb just as a preventative measure, and Thx4Scrims gonna walk away with the first match this evening here on Ilios. Play the game going in a steal. On the very first map. That whole hog, nothing but the hog. Triple kill, quadruple kill, essentially. Dang. That is spicy.
They've started showing Diva eating ultimates into the kill feed, but they don't show resurrections being denied in the kill feed. I think that'd be a really interesting addition, because I was noticing during the final fight that Seraphic Goose with the Primal Raging Winston managed to knock away Iroh's Mercy as he tried to res.
Interesting.
And that was a pretty important play during that fight to leave the opponent down one of their players.
I'm not for certain why it doesn't do that, similar to I think because it's not like a physical object that can be taken down, like the immortality field or something. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, but
I mean, that would make sense to me. But
it might be a style choice for Blizzard. Yeah.
Whatever. All right, so Pepega's going to be choosing Dorado for our next map. Go ahead, blow up the chat with who y'all want to see going on this evening, as we're going to jump right into it, it seems. No time for additional analysis. Well, I guess we do have some time for some analysis of the last match. So we were seeing quite a matchup between these two teams, able to make it 1-1 near the end, but Thx4Scrims ends up taking it. Do you see any reason why Thx4Scrims did a better job on the control map type there, Dr. Ethan?
I think I'm trying to think through what exactly would have given them the better situation in that map. It might have been that on that map, the opponent went Reaper, went Roadhog, and Thx4Scrims was just able to abuse high ground on the last map at least.
And I think that's what we saw on the first map too, wasn't it? That
on WoW?
Yeah, well, no, they both had the bunker compositions, that's true.
Yeah.
I think it was more so on the first map that they stuck to that bastion maybe just a little bit too long, and they weren't able to get back into the objective because of how locked down Thx4Scrims had it till the very end.
Didn't Thx4Scrims win the first map?
Yeah. But they were running a bunker with a... Yeah, they were both running bunker. One was running Bastion, one was running Torbjorn.
Okay.
So...
Right, we had
Torbjorn, it's nice because you have like the second... You have like an additional gun on the field that's shooting all the time. And that turret, even got a kill through the amplification matrix at one time, which I thought was pretty interesting. Never seen one of those before.
Yeah,
let's
turret does a lot of damage, but
let's go ahead and get into the match. The shield missing there for Epic Goose as we go ahead and see Thx4Scrims on the push right now, coming out with a bunker-ish ghost composition. I'm not exactly for certain what they're running there. Evan ends up getting blocked off by the Steel, who came in as the main for this fight, along with Arrow on the Junkrat. Gonna go ahead and take Evan out of the fight right there as the DMAC comes in from the 22 guy by Arrow. Epic Goose able to take down Nano for show though, so it's going to be a 5v5 fight on the objective right now. 3 minutes on the clock as they are already pushing into the choke point right there. The Immortality field trying to keep everybody up as the tire comes out. Kiwi's able to take it down. Here comes the Nano as well. Arrow in the backline takes down Brainiac and the 22 guy after the DMAC as Kiwi takes down Evan. It looks like that Nano just going to be faux show, as Prodigy not able to land a whole lot of damage on anyone because everyone was pretty much already dead.
Yeah, but so kind of a little bit of a waste. Prodigy does manage to get his Earthshot. I don't know if he had it at the beginning. Nano for sure being taken out though. That's going to be very devastating for this composition.
Okay, well the bongos coming out from Epic Goose looking to do some damage as they move their way into the objective once again. The Transcendence gets popped both by Kiwi and then by Stutter to try to keep the teams going as much as possible. Evan trying to get a hack in the backline onto Hero and will be successful. Ends up getting taken down by Winsander. Brainiac follows up onto Arrow. Brainiac swapping over now to the Pharah once again, taking control of the skies. It's the 22 guy takes down Prodigy. Nano Patrol able to take down Brainiac. The Blizzard comes out and goes really high, which was dangerous with the 22 guy being the Diva. Only ends up getting Epic Goose as Kiwi takes them out of the fight. Might not be enough for them to take control of the objective, or will it? As we see the Pepegas staggering back into the objective. The D-bomb comes down for the 22 guy as they hide around the payload, just able to barely get out of its reach. 0.7646 meters rather, till the objective point as the tackle comes in after the shatter onto Evan for Prodigy. The only one left of the objective is the 22 guy as the tire comes out after the DMAC from Prodigy's fire strike onto the 22 guy. That tire looking to do some damage in the back line, ends up taking down the 22 guy and will push Thx4Scrims back to the choke point as just barely being held by the Pepegas before objective 1.
Yeah, that was really well played on the side of the Pepegas. They got the Ana, Zarya, and Reinhardt down. That's all they needed. The DMP's coming out, connected 3. Not going to be completely countered by the Transcendence because the Anti-Nate's going to land Rocket Barrage too, and the Graviton in response isn't going to be enough damage. It looks like it might just be as 2 tanks are taken out of the fight. Farah struggling to stand in the sky is going to fall herself, and that should be the fight.
No, it still looks oh man, it's Nano for show versus the rest of the team, and that's going to be first objective taken right there as Evan ends up getting the kill onto Nano for show. Unfortunately, you just can't, despite being a tank, there's sometimes not enough tankiness you can have to survive on your own, unfortunately.
Yeah, you really need that team behind you, and Nano for sure just didn't have anyone left to rely on, so...
Nope. It's unfortunate.
Bears holding the gate.
Yes, they are. We see Brainiac and Winsander in the sky right now as the Epic Goose getting the first kill onto Nasteel. We'll end up continuing the match as we see the majority of Thx4Scrims holding off the choke. Arrow swapping over to the Ash, gets taken down by Brainiac early in the fight as the payload being pushed currently by Stutter makes its way towards the choke point heading into objective number 2. The Diva Bomb going into the back line, looking to get somebody, but was unsuccessful as the Nano goes in onto Epic Goose. Nasteel able to take Brainiac out of the fight when Xander looking to try to get that res if possible, but ends up getting pushed back by the rest of the Pepegas. They're moving themselves into the objective area as we see Arrow coming out with the Dynamite as well as the Primal Rage from Sir Epic Goose ends up taking down Kiwi. Nano for sure able to get the teammech and kill onto the 22 guy as the steal follows up on Sir Epic Goose. 1 minute, 10 seconds on the clock, and everything just seems to be popping up Pepegas as they secure objective 2 with 1 minute left on the clock.
I am empowered.
The big thing in this next engagement is going to be they have EMP rocket barrage ready. And if they manage to catch Kiwi in the EMP, it's going to be pretty much a fight ended right then and there. But Kiwi is currently hiding away. He should be able to pop Transcendence and run out to try and save his team from the devastating ultimate combination. But, as I say that, the dive's heading back towards his direction.
Oh boy, here we go again. The fight going down as the EMP ends up getting 2, but not Kiwi with the Transcendence. Brainiac able to take Prodigy out with the barrage as Nasteel takes down Winxander in return with the tactical visor. Nasteel ends up taking themselves out of the fight, unfortunately, as Arrow takes down Brainiac and the 22 guy falls to Nano for show's fifth. 15 seconds left on the clock. Evan, the only one near the objective, currently just kind of hanging out in the back line, looking to just distract on the point until the team is able to get back in. As we see the slam come in from Sir Epic Goose, just able to touch just in time. We're going to see the rest of the team move their way in. Brainiac getting the Nano from Stutter, ends up getting taken down by Prodigy with the Nano of their own. Nasteel following up on Evan. Nano for sure getting the double kill on Sir Epic Goose and Brainiac as Prodigy and Arrow finish off the team and ring the team kill bell in overtime on Winxander and the 22 guy, with a rare second point hold.
Yeah, I can't help but feel that the EMP Rocket Barrage combo might have been misused. Dropping both of the ultimates just to take out the Reinhardt seemed like a pretty big waste, especially when there was such a big clumping of enemies in the backline that you could have gone for. But it might have just been that they were pressed for time, watching Sir Epic Goose die and being down the main thing for the rest of the engagement, that they wanted to try and get the momentum back on their side. It didn't end up going their way, so that means they're going to have to hold at least second point, if not first point, in order to get the map win.
Absolutely, and with how rare it is to have a second point hold on escort maps, unless they're very well versed at holding that high ground, which we have seen come out from Thx4Scrims for a majority of the matches so far that we've seen. It could definitely be it definitely could be possible that Objective 2 is more in their favor than Objective 1. It looks like they are coming out with the GOATS composition with Stutter, Winxander, and Brainiac on the Ana, Lucio, and Brigitte, as we see once again what looks like a 2-2-2 coming out from the side of the Pepegas, with Nasteel and Arrow on the Mei and Widowmaker.
Yeah, Attack Mei is a bit uncommon, I'm going to say. It does have the potential to catch out a couple members of the defense scopes if any of them were to be overextended. Additionally, the Brigitte is going to be the one to get caught out by that. But meeting up at the choke, this is the close quarter battle that Goats is looking for.
And Prodigy is going to start things off with the tackle on Winxander as the 22 try follows up on Arrow. Nano for sure able to get the kill onto Stutter as the payload starts moving its way forward. Nasteel sending out that frozen beam of ice. Nano for sure ends up taking down Sir Epic Goose after the fall of Prodigy. The res comes in for Prodigy as Evan takes down Nano for show in return at 2 minutes 25 seconds on the clock. The payload only being prevented from moving by that mini 22 guy, and after the takeout by Prodigy, they're going to move their way into defending the exit to objective number 1.
Yeah, and it looks like Sir Epic Goose in a bit of hot water at the moment. He's going to be jumping out. He's actually fine at the moment. So it looks like they swapped over from the Rhine Goats to the Winston Goats, something they've been favoring a lot recently.
Yep, that dive goat is definitely preferable for the second area. Stutter getting the first pick onto Prodigy right there. We see Nasteel healing up in the icicle right now, trying to separate out the team. Here comes the Graviton as the 22 guy ends up getting Arrow, but a Blizzard comes out in return, looking to grab somebody, but it's unsuccessful as we see Iroh ends up getting the kill onto Brainiac. Nano for sure following up on Evan right there. The Shatter comes out, ends up getting a majority of the team as Nano for sure follows up on Sir Epic Goose. and the payload's going to start moving its way forward as the rest of Thx4Scrims retreats back to the safety of the team. The question is, will they come in and contest for Objective 1 is taken now? And that will be what they do. The Diva Bomb coming in, ends up taking down Prodigy, who did have shield up, but maybe was a little out of position. Eero able to bring them back into the fight as Evan takes down Nano for show, as well as Eero is 4v6 fight on the objective right now. As they continue to fight for control, Arrow ends up taking down Brainiac, and then Steel follows up on Stutter, making it a 4v4 fight. It's anyone's game right now as Prodigy getting back into it, ends up getting the D-Mech with Fire Strike on the 22 guy. As we see them continue to fight things out, the Nano coming onto that Steel, looking to do some deadly damage as that Reaper ends up taking down Terrific Goose and Evan as Prodigy follows up on the Mini 22 guy. 4 minutes now on the clock as first objective is claimed, and now they have their push into the early Objective 2 final objective area.
When we see Stutter swapping over to the Moira, that's not something I see very often. It provides a lot of healing if your team's grouped up, but it's difficult for this character to follow around a Winston diva dive composition or to heal from afar. Interesting to see what
well,
the
actually,
there's this character.
It looks like they've swapped back over to the Rein Zarya, so that might be why. But still interesting because the Blossom coming out gets absorbed till the very end, but still gets Windander and Evan. The Shatter comes down for Prodigy, looking to clean up the rest of the team right there, and will end up being successful. Team kill rings loud and proud with 3 minutes. 5 seconds left on the clock. There's going to be one last chance for Thx4Scrims Esports to hold on to objective number 2 as we see the payload pushing into its final resting spot. 2 minutes, 50 seconds now as they go ahead and start making their way. Here comes the Graviton, ends up getting both the Steel and Prodigy as the tackle comes in for 2 efforts. Sir Epic Goose as well as the Shatter misses, but is able to take down Prodigy nonetheless as they continue to fight. Evan able to follow up on Arrow, making a 4v6 fight, and due to the time difference that they have right now, they're going to choose to kind of back it up and go for the regroup early on, but it doesn't look like Thx4Scrims going to give that up as easily as the anti-nade comes in on them, could put them in a difficult position. Prodigy falls to Brainiac, but the rest comes in from Eero, so it's a 6v6 fight going back onto the objective. 3-man anti-nade as the Diva Bomb goes into the back line, ends up getting protected as the Steel follows up on Terrific Goose, making it a 5v6 fight on the payload and slash the final objective. As we see Arrow on the higher ground, bringing out the High Noon, gets the double kill as well as the Death Blossom coming out from the Steel. It's a quad kill on the objective. The only one left is the 22 guy trying to just zoom around like a buzzing bumblebee as the Shatter comes in to make sure Epic Goose stays down. Arrow getting the stun onto the 22 guy, and the Pepegas will walk away with their first victory of the evening, making it 1-1 here on Dorado. Woo! Playing the game going to Prodigy with that bad Shatter on the defense, I believe. Yep. Ooh!
Oh wait, I think this is actually his offense Shatter.
Oh, was this the offense Shatter? It looks like. Ooh. Fast Shatters, man. Those fast Shatters.
So I might just be incredibly biased against the Moira, but I feel like in those situations, either the Zenyatta ultimate to counter Death Blossom would have been super valuable, or Anna's Sleep Dart to stop High Noon or Death Blossom would have had a lot more value than bringing the Moira.
Well, I just hate this
character.
The thing that was getting me was Kiwi's persistence with the anti-nade. Just about every time I saw Kiwi throwing out an anti-nade, getting at minimum 3 characters on Thx4Scrims purple, and that's the huge thing about picking between Ana or Moira, is that you don't have that same advantage with Moira that you do with Ana to be able to get that anti-healing in there. Like, yes, you can do damage. Yes, you can heal a majority of the team at one time. You don't have to do that focused healing, which may be what we saw Stutter trying to go for there. But in the end, it ended up not being successful because of Kiwi's continued use of those anti-nades. So anything else you want to put out before we go into our 5-minute break?
No, that's just about it.
Alrighty, so we will be back with more action here in about 5 minutes. Go ahead, get yourself a drink, use the restroom. Anything y'all need to do, the Rose League will be back with more action in about 5 minutes.
From my back on the phone, ain't been famous for a while, but I'm still up in my zone. And I don't usually smoke, but I'm high on sativa. It's T-word in my tea, I smell like heaven, I'm a diva. In a league so loud, I'ma speak at the echo, now you know I'm gone. Don't you be blowing up my phone, I'm in a different time zone. Ever since I'm out of town, my girl's better than mine. Hope the band is the bread, you have but you still don't know how to handle your mind. It's probably why you ain't anymore. You ain't got a root cause I changed before. It's fuck if you're young and don't fuck no more cause they keep falling out if you fuck them before. Don't get me wrong, I really like it when we're vibing. When I'm in another city, shh, be quiet. motherfucker down the drain like me. Just pour that motherfucker down the drain like me. Just pour that motherfucker down the drain like me. Don't you use your automobile to drive sane like me? Are you high enough without the Mary Jane like me? Are you high enough without the Mary Jane like me? Are you high enough without the Mary Jane like me?
Brainiac, I missed this earlier, but Brainiac swapped over to the Genji, so it's going to be difficult for Kiwi to build Transcendence in time for the Blade.
That is true. Here comes the Graviton already out with the Bob, looking to do some damage on the objective as Prodigy gets the double kill. Arrow following up on Brainiac. Nano for sure takes down the 22 guy, but not before Kiwi falls to the guns on that Diva mech. 5 minutes left on the clock.
And Kiwi's, it's really important that Kiwi didn't die that fight, but, well, it would have been really important if Kiwi didn't die that fight because he really needs to match Brainiac's ult charge right now. He's sitting at 52, Brainiac's sitting at 82. Brainiac's going to have quite a wide window to pop the Blade without any ultimate to be used in response.
Well, let's see if they can make it happen as they go in to start contesting the point. 4 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. Epic Goose takes down Kiwi to start. That's the one they're looking for. As the Blizzard comes out after the B drop from Winxander, the Diva Bomb comes down from the 22 guy. Doesn't end up taking out anybody. That's still able to follow up on Stutter as Brainiac takes down Nano Pajora. Evans gets followed up on by Prodigy. Is back and forth, red and blue as Prodigy pops the Primal, trying to keep everything up, focusing on Winxander if at all possible. Now trying to get down the 22 guy as they get frozen on the objective, and it looks like without a tick to be had, just barely unable to get that first tick. They're gonna stagger the 22 guy really badly right here.
Yeah.
And you see the heals coming from the distance from Stutter.
Stutter is
trying so hard to keep the 22 guy up to get remaxed. Just trying so
He
hard.
actually didn't heal the 22 guy. He only did damage by firing those shots.
Oh, that's too bad. They were trying though. They were. They staggered 22 guy a lot though, which is huge when you're a Diva player. 3 minutes 20 seconds on the clock.
Kiwi still doesn't have Transcendence. There's an EMP and a Dragon Blade, Nano Blade potentially ready.
Well, that's the quick end to that. Here comes the Nano. It looks like it's going on to Epic Goose as the Blade takes down Eero. Nasteel follows up on Stutter as Evan takes down Prodigy. The Blizzard holding on to the objective, freezes Winxander, but not a lot of follow-up as Nasteel takes down the 22 guy. The hack comes in from Evan onto Nasteel, but is not able to be successful thanks to the trans from Kiwi. We're gonna see Arrow swap over to the Reaper as Nano for show takes down Brainiac. Will shut down the gate from Epic Goose, but they're able to get out through the other side as Winxander does end up taking down Prodigy on the Hammond, and Sir Epic Goose takes down the Steel, but takes down themselves as well. The Graviton comes in from Nano for show, trying to take down the 22 guy, and will end up being successful as they get first tick on the objective, just barely almost getting second tick, 66.6%. Like, that could not be any closer to second tick, because isn't it 66.7 for second tick? Wow. That is like an eyebrow hair away from second tick, and they just got denied by who everyone would. Well, actually, they don't have the May anymore, so you can't even say the devil did it.
Yeah, Prodigy swapping to Hammond and swapping back to Winston means he's behind a bit in ult charge, and that might get abused here in a moment when the Sir Epic Goose being taken out.
Maybe not. That's an early pick right there for them, and it looks like they're going to let that stop their push for now. Arrow and Brainiac fighting on the high ground right there, going to push both of them back with that reflect of the damage. 1 minute 20 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, this time Kiwi is going to have, or should have, Transcendence ready for Brainiac's Dragon Blade, but he's going to have to beat up the EMP in timing in order to make sure that he gets it off, because Evan did focus him down last time by popping the EMP right on top of him and then doing the quick 50 damage to finish him, and it looks like he's hunting right now for him.
Whoa, we're going to see the B drop come in from Winxander, as well as the Diva Bomb in the 2 guy and the EMP. Gets the double kill with the Diva Bomb, takes down Nano Pacho and Iruo, but the Transcendence keeps everyone else up. Oh! Brainiac shutting down the Blossom before it could even start its Stutter. Takes down Kiwi, second tick, 30 seconds on the clock. The only one left on the objective is Nasteel and Prodigy, and Goose and Brainiac shut them down. The only one left is Nano Pacho, but gets taken down by the Primal as Hero gets taken down by Brainiac as Sir Epicu's following up on Kiwi, looking to get that final tick. 15 seconds left on the clock. We've seen Nasteel swapping back over to the Mei, trying to be that Distract-A-Mei, gets taken down by Epic Goose, and with just about 10 seconds left on the clock, they're going to grab objective number 2.
Yeah, the magical timing of a minute was missed, but definitely good point push for Hanamura. A lot of teams don't finish this map, and having finished the map, it kind of means that they're likely to win. I haven't seen a lot of times where a team takes the second point and then the second team takes and we put it into a second round in this tournament, at least recently. I don't know if you have.
I actually recently we had an issue. See, they actually got really lucky because if they would have went 10 more seconds, they would have put themselves in a very precarious position because then if the second area would have got taken by Pepegas with with less than a minute on the clock, they could have gotten an extra minute to attack. But if they would have if they get over a minute, then they would be screwed. So either way, now they get an extra minute on the clock, unless they completely obviously hold out Pepegas on second point. And it looks like they're looking to actually hold them off on first point as they come out with the bunker composition. Evan coming in on the Bastion, and Brainiac coming out with the Junkrat.
Yeah. They have the Baptiste as well, so they're fully committed to this composition. They're going to stay on the high ground. It's going to be very challenging to dislodge them, especially if their opponents are on the Rhine Zarya composition, because it means they'll have to find their way up to the high ground or across the courtyard into the point. But they do have the double sniper composition, which, if you can get some weird angles, might have the potential to take out one of the supports, and that would destroy this lineup.
It could be. Brainiac gets the first kill onto Nano for show to start things off, though. The Sonic Arrow ends up revealing the bunker composition. And honestly, I think the only thing they might have to switch up is... and they might be... Oh, nope. Oh, they're getting cheekier. Cheeky versus cheekier. And it looks like they already know what's coming as they move their way onto the objective. Arrow swapped over to the Symmetra to try to teleport into the objective, but now that they're already set up, that's going to make it incredibly more difficult for them to try to get in there. But thankfully, they're going to move into the left side. Everyone still staying up in the fight as they move on to the high ground to the left side. 3 minutes on the clock. The team moving their way around the bell in the center as we see Nasteel take down Brainiac on the high ground. Evan's going to rain bullets into Prodigy, taking down that shield. It's a 5v5 fight right now as we see both the teleporter and the immortality fields get taken down by Evan. The bunker is going to stay up. Nasteel takes down Stutter's immortality field, but Stutter takes down Nasteel. Arrow following up on Stutter as Evan takes down Hero as well as Arrow. 2 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. The rest comes in for Stutter as Prodigy gets the tackle onto Winxander, but Epic Goose and Evan are going to take down Kiwi and Prodigy and hold on to the objective as Nano gets killed by Sir Epic Goose. 2 minutes, 15 seconds on the clock right now, and currently their Mercy is not on the objective. So unless they can hold them off long enough to...
she can fly over.
That's true, and that's exactly what they're doing. So that's good teamwork right there, because otherwise she would have been pretty screwed.
I think she can make that jump normally, actually.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, with her glide. There's a big enough elevation difference.
Ooh.
I know every character can make it with speed boosts, so it would make sense that Mercy can make it.
Even with the recent nerf to speed boost?
Yeah.
Oh, how about that? Alrighty, well they're set up in the corner right now. 1 minute, 30 seconds on the clock. They're still trying to figure out how they're going to take care of this as the Diva Bomb goes into the back line, and it's going to be a complete shutdown of a majority of the team. The only ones left near the point are Nasteel and Kiwi as they try to fight their way in. Nasteel just finds himself off the edge of the map as Kiwi just hiding in the little corner as the Annas do. And they're going to move their way back to the high ground, and I think they might know that Kiwi's there, so without the extra healing, they're going to move their way back to the high ground, trying to take them out. Here comes the Tire, looking to do some damage, gets the triple kill, in the back line. Diva Bomb comes out from Nano for show, gets Winxander, but gets taken out before the remake. 45 seconds left on the clock, and you still have Kiwi just kind of hunkered down in that corner, just waiting for the team to get back on the objective. They have the Nano, they have the Shatter. They could end up shutting this down, but they got to be able to get in and do the damage first. Arrow trying to come up on that Dragon Strike, but not able to be successful due to the fact that this bunker has been incredibly protecting of its Bastion and a majority of its team. 15 seconds on the clock as they move their way in. Here comes the Nano onto Arrow, looking to do some damage into the shield. The Shatter comes down. It may be successful. Arrow able to take down Evan, and Sir Epic Goose overtime ticking away right now as they continue to fight out on the objective. Arrow, Nesteel taking out Brainiac and Stutter. Brainiac able to take down Prodigy with the passive as the DMAC and Kill come out for Kiwi and Nano for show onto Winxander and the 22 guy, and in overtime we will see the bunker defeated and an extra 4 minutes added onto the clock for the Pepegas as they move to objective number 2.
Yeah, but that was a pretty good hold. Only 4 minutes left on the clock for Pepegas to take this point. That being said, we see almost a complete composition swap coming out from Thx4Scrims, meaning the Pepegas do have a pretty substantial ult economy advantage at the moment, and they can leverage the Dragon Strike or the Death Blossom to get a couple picks. They have the potential to snowball this point.
They probably could. They're going their way to the high ground right now. As they try to defend from all the incoming damage. 22 guy coming up on the Diva Bomb as they work their way around, as well as Brainiac with the tire. The beat drop comes down, ends up taking down Arrow with that, but Prodigy takes down Sir Epic Goose. It's a 5v5 fight on the objective right now as they're looking to get that in their percentage. 22 guy coming out with the Diva Bomb, ends up taking down Hero as the Steel folds up on Winxander with the Blossom. Nano for show running over Stutter as Evan takes down Kiwi, and Prodigy falls to 22 guy being run over as well. Arrow brings out the Dragon Strike, takes down Evan as the Steel falls up on Sir Epic Goose, but Nesteel and Nano for show fall to the 22 guy. They did end up getting 2 ticks on the objective, but now they've got 2 minutes 45 seconds to get that final tick.
Yeah, that was the push where Pepegas probably had the most advantageous position just because of the ult economy advantage, but Thx4Scrims did an absolutely amazing job of just playing the respawn clock, waiting for Sir Epic Goose to come back before their next loss of a character happened. So they weren't down too far at any point in that fight, and they were actually up a person for just about a second. That's really well done by them.
That works out really well. 2 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock right now. We see Brainiac swapping over to the Han zone now for this next fight, along with Winxander still holding on to that Mercy roll. They're going to find themselves on the low ground with Eero as Brainiac takes them down with the Storm Arrow. Already a 5v6 fight, and they're looking to continue pushing in or at least getting picked. Nano for show able to take down Sir Epic Goose, but Gavin with the Deadeye rather takes down Prodigy and the Steel Arrow. The only one left on the point gets taken down by the 22 guy. And with a minute 40 seconds on the clock, they're going to have to work their way back in for another push.
Yeah, and this push, there is the potential for Nano Blossom. There's not a big ultimate combo that the Pepegas can build up to win this fight, as if there was in Sombra on the team somewhere. Yeah. But they have the potential to just win it out with the mid fight and do enough damage and land a good dive and try to win this out. Right now, Prodigy is
possible. Let's see if they can do it. Diva Bomb going into the high ground, gets stuck, and there's nobody there to hold on to it as Sir Epic Goose takes down Prodigy. Evan follows up on Arrow. It looks like the Pepegas looking to get the second win, or sorry, Thx4Scrims looking to get the second win in their favor as Brainiac takes down the Steel. 45 seconds left on the clock right now, and not an ultimate to be used so far on the side of Thx4Scrims, which is going to put them in a good position for this very last fight.
Yeah, the 5 ultimates, their opponents do have 4 ults, but I kind of like Well, that was Seraphic Goose falling is going to be pretty tragic for Thx4Scrims. They're going to use a couple of their ultimates to try and shift that back in their favor.
They're going to have to try, and they've got a lot to work with, so let's see if they can make it happen. Dragon Strike already coming out early, but misses the majority of the team. The Nano also coming out onto Evan as the Blossom hits in the back line, ends up getting slapped by Stutter. The Diva Bomb coming down from the 22 guy gets the steal as the High Noon comes out from Arrow, taking down Sir Epic Goose. It may be in their favor as they continue to fight it out. The rest comes in from Winsander and is successful as Sir Epic Goose takes down Nano for show. This may be exactly what they need as Winsander falls to Arrow. Brainiac following up on Arrow, but Kiwi takes down Stutter. Evan able to follow up on Kiwi as they continue to fight for control of the objective. Nasteel takes down Sir Epic Goose. Now on the Tracer as the 22 guy takes down Prodigy. The only one left near the objective is Nasteel and Arrow right now as Evan gets the rockets into Hero's face as well as takes down Nasteel. We're going to see Thx4Scrims go ahead and take the victory here on Hanamura, placing them 2-1 in their current playoff. Play of the game to Brainiac on that junk tire triple that we saw earlier. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah, that's the play gonna be. A Diva Bomb felt like it was out of position because it was thrown from behind the Orisa shield and landed on the low ground. It managed to catch out Wizander, but
yep.
Thanks for the love.
When it happened, it felt like such a waste.
It did. Anyways. It did, but it was even if it gets one pick, it was. I felt like it was kind of looking to land behind the shield, so it went just a little bit too far. But either way, the fact that it was able to at least get one person did work some things out in Pepegas' favor. But unfortunately, they were not able to solidify the victory on that map. But our next map going to be either Eichenwald or Numbani, and I gotta say, I'm really hoping for Numbani because I haven't seen Nope, we're going to Eichenwald. I knew better, Numbani. I knew better, but I was really hoping for it. So Pepegas have the opportunity to tie things up. We might be seeing our first playoff map 5, which would be really neat. I think that'd be really cool.
Imagine picking Numbani.
I mean,
that first point is always so awkward for everyone involved.
That's kind of the point. That's why I like Numbani, because honestly, everyone has the advantage there. It's all based on how you play it.
I don't think anybody really...
Yeah, I know when it comes down to a scrim, when it's for the playoffs, like, you gotta play the map that you know you can shut the choke down, but personally, I love Numbani. It gives a lot... For the attack, it gives you a lot of ways to get in. For the defense, yes, you have to defend quite a few ways to really sort. SpongeBob ready.
I feel like Numbani's really fun spectating. I feel like Numbani is horrible to play.
I don't know.
High ground, that means you want to be on a dive composition, but all the angles are really weird for your Ana to play around. So you sometimes just have to go Mercy Lucio into the high ground. And there's one of the maps where Torbjorn is super viable for some reason. And you gotta worry about that additional line of sight angle that the turret could have on you and breaking that first, and then honestly, I've seen some teams run Brigida Ana on the high ground and just make it so that if a dive competition runs into you, Brigida pushes them away back to low ground, and then Ana can reign supreme once again on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I'd enjoy playing on as a map.
See, for me, usually the composition that I like to run is, it seems odd, but it works out well, is an Orisa Diva composition. So you've got that dive character that can get like up and down on the high ground.
Or defense.
For defense.
Okay, cool.
And so usually we'll set up Orisa on the high ground, the far right side, so that you can take care of whoever's coming in that top area, because usually that's a big choice for a lot of teams, is to try to take the high ground early and to use that pass to get up to the high ground. If not, you can jump easily onto the low ground and reset up rather quickly. And then if you want, you can either have the close-up healing of Moira, or you can have the distance healing of Ana on the very opposite area for the defense. For the attack, I've run so many different things on attack, and because of what you had said, that it's awkward for teams sometimes to set up on that. It's really just about every composition I've used has either worked or not worked, depending on how awkward it is. So usually going with a shield break is usually good. If you want to run a full DPS, obviously that Hammond is good on the objective with spin to win and all that jazz. But it really just depends on what you're facing.
So going into this point, it looks like we see Pepegas is on the Winston again, so we have a dive composition once more from the Thx4Scrims lineup. Meanwhile, on the defense, we have a Junkrat Hanzo, which is going to fall victim to this pharmacy comp.
It could. It depends on. It always depends on how good your Hanzo is, if you have a scan with him or not. So we shall see. And it looks like they're saving them off rather well, to be completely honest. Oh, but Kiwi gets caught in the back line, almost gets taken out, but it's successfully saved. Brainiac, though, able to get Arrow as they adjust, as Pepegas takes down Nano for show. So it is now a 3v6 fight on the objective as 22 guy gets taken out by Nasteel. Evan able to follow up on Nasteel. Now only the healers remain as the 22 guy gets rezzed back into the fight. And objective 1 will be taken in a furious fury by Thx4Scrims.
Yeah, and going into this next point, we see the effectively triple hit scan composition coming up from the defense. They have the Ana, Widowmaker, Soldier to deal with this Pharah now on what is a triple
what is
DPS
not a Pharah anymore.
Yep. Brainiac immediately swapping off, not going to deal with that at all. Pepegas being taken down first. That's the main tank gone for the side of Thx4Scrims.
Yeah, but the payload's still moving its way forward. We're going to see Prodigy meet up with it, though, and is currently kind of on their own. You able to meet up with them as they get the DMAC and kill on Winsander, and following up on the 22 guy right now. May not be successful on the 22 guy, trying to get it, but just ends up charging them up instead. Pepegas moving their way in, goes to the high ground as the Dragon Strike comes out from Nano, ends up taking down Brainiac, Evan finding themselves off the edge somewhere. I'm not for certain where that ended up happening, but we'll go for the hard reset back to spawn as we see the the mech come back for the 22 guy successfully. They will prepare for their next push as the sights come out from Arrow, which surprisingly, I'm actually kind of surprised that Arrow, without getting a single pick, already has sights.
Yeah, just been doing a lot of damage.
That's good. That's good.
In the background, it's going to take out Kiwi.
Oh, Kiwi going to find themselves over the edge thanks to the Primal right there as they find their way onto the objective. Here comes the Nano Blade! Or no, not Nano Blade, just Nano onto Brainiac looking to do some damage, but Nasteel end up getting the double kill onto the 22 guy, and Brainiac Evan takes down Prodigy as the EMP comes out onto Nano for show, and Nasteel Stutter able to take down Nano during the EMP. The only one left near the objective is Nasteel, but is currently underground, ends up taking down Evan and looking to take the long way back, so the payload is going to move its way towards the bridge with 3 minutes 25 seconds on the clock. The shatter comes down, and the tac visor from Nasteel looking to do some additional cleanup, but doesn't see the team moving in on the objective. The 22 guy running over beep beep Kiwi, but ends up finding themselves in a precarious position where their jets run out over the space, and they end up finding themselves at the bottom of the bridge area.
Interested to see how effective this triple DPS composition has been so far on the defense. We see right now Arrow swapping over from the Widowmaker to the McCree, perhaps to deal with the dive tanks that are going to threaten his backline in this next fight, especially because Kiwi has been...
I think it's also been nice kind of having that pseudo heal DPS with Nasteel on the soldier. But let's go ahead and start this off again. The Nano Blade coming in for Brainiac, gets the double kill as the 22 guy leads off with the Diva Bomb, getting the kill there as well when Xander able to take down Prodigy, and that payload's going to start moving forward with a quickness. With 2 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock and just about 10 meters to get into its objective, it looks like Arrow gonna come out the side, looks to try to stop that payload, but will end up being unsuccessful. Minute and a half added to the clock, 3 minutes 30 seconds to push into objective 3.
Yeah, and it looks like this is starting to fall apart. Prodigy.
Oh man. Valkyrie's gonna come out. Oh, and the Dragon Strike gets by the 22 guy, which is not a good way for them to start this off. Nasteel ends up taking down Brainiac. Brainiac follows up on Arrow just before the death, making it a 5v6 fight near the objective right now as the beat drop comes in from when Xander trying to keep everybody in the fight. The Bastion comes out for Arrow, looking to do some additional damage into this composition as Nasteel takes down Sir Epic Goose. The 22 guy gets T-Mexed by Arrow, and when Xander, the only one left near the objective, trying to distract, but ends up getting shut down by Nano for show. Arrow getting the punch kill onto the 22 guy, and the payload will be just about 30 meters away from its final destination with 2 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, and we're in this next engagement. There's a bit of an ultimate economy advantage for the side of the Pepegas. They have one ultimate more, but that being said, Evan, I just realized, has EMP ready. That could be pretty devastating if Brainiac can build his Dragon Blade in time, but using it on its own.
And there it comes. Triple EMP right there as the blade comes in. Double, triple. As Stutter gets the kill onto Nano for show. Now we got a Nano soldier looking to do some damage, and the shatter comes in from Prodigy, trying to hold on as Xander takes down Nasteel. Epic Goose takes down Prodigy, but no one's able to touch the point soon enough as Arrow barely comes in. They were not able to touch soon enough, and round one will complete with a 3-point capture, 2 minutes, 3 seconds on the clock.
That was really impressive seeing the EMP come out and immediately Brainiac swift strike through 2-3 people, managed to build his blade, the Nano was dropped on him, the blade came out. So they were able to combo it, even though when EMP was dropped, Brainiac was only at 80% ult charge. Because if he didn't get that, they wouldn't... I don't think they would have gotten the 4K in the same fashion, and I don't think they would have had that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's all to speculation at that point. Even if the EMP would have worn off by that time, the Nano Blade's still very difficult to shut down. And based on what I was seeing from their team composition, they didn't really have... I don't think Kiwi was on the Zenyatta that time, were they?
No, he was on the Ana.
Yeah, so we weren't going to end up seeing that Nano really get shut down by much of anything without a defensive ult. So, I mean, they could... if Kiwi could have got a very tactical sleep dart in on that Nano Blade, then I probably could have seen it swapping to Pepegas' favor, but I think that Nano Blade, whether they had the EMP or not, kind of solidified that objective. But we're going to go ahead...
Disagree.
Huh? Yeah, we'll just agree to disagree, I guess. Honestly, it's all speculation at this point. No way to know unless we played the millions of different ways that could have gone down. But now we're going to see the bunker comp once again on objective number 1, which we saw was difficult for the Pepegas to shut down. But now that they got Nasteel on the hog, it may be a possibility as they start moving their way in. Nasteel looking to get that hook, but Sir Epic Goose going to end up shutting down Prodigy early in that fight. Gonna make it a 5v6 scenario near the objective as we see Nasteel and Nano for show currently working their way into the back line. They see that Sir Epic Goose has their number, knows where they're at right now. Everyone kind of keeping watch on both entrances, but as they try to split their attention, Nano for show ends up being successful and taking down Winxander, which could end up being successful to them. Arrow currently hiding behind the objective right there gets first pick as Arrow goes in. A Nano for sure able to take down Evan with the Storm Arrow, and the triple kill goes to Nano for sure, taking down Stutter and Epic Goose in their wake. The DMAC comes on to 22 guy from Kiwi, and in just about the same fashion, it looks like they're going to end up taking objective number 1.
That really seemed like an observation problem. Nano for sure was on the high ground, just standing there charging up his bow, waiting for the Genji to join him before he started shooting. Definitely within line of sight of everybody, but just nobody was looking in his direction.
And that was what I was talking about, that they were looking to do. They wanted to get that split attention with those two directions, because I kept seeing Sir Epic Goose and I believe it was Stutter, or sorry, Winsander on the Mercy. They were both looking down that hallway, like back and forth. So their attention was not completely on the objective, and then once it was game over at that point.
Looking for me?
Yeah. So we see Thx4Scrims blue tires so that they can swap Brainiac over to the Genji. They won the fight immediately afterwards. Now we're in the cart being pushed, but Iroh and Arrow have the Nano Blade combination ready. There isn't a defensive ultimate to counter right now, and if it could get on the high ground, I managed to find one of these picks.
They might be looking for a big group up, because right here they have a lot of room to move. Looks like they're going to use the Nano on Prodigy to try to chase down some of the healers. Ends up getting slept on the high ground as Evan ends up getting the hack onto Prodigy as well. Arrow looks to try to get the defense. Here comes the hook onto Evan from the steal. Ends up taking them out of the fight. 3 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock. Brainiac fighting on the high ground solo ends up getting taken down by Prodigy. The only one left near the objective is 22 guy and Sir Epic Goose, but they're going to get pushed right back into spawn as the payload moves its way onto the bridge. 3 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock.
Because they didn't use the Nano Blade, they still have the Dragon Blade for this fight. Xander's nowhere near feet.
And there it goes. The EMP gets 2. Diva Bomb coming down from the 22 guy ends up taking down Arrow and Prodigy, but Arrow able to get the kill onto Evan with the blade. Just before that, Nano for show following up on Winsander as Brainiac gets taken down by Kiwi, and they're going to continue to push in. Here comes the whole hog, and nothing but the hog. Traps 22 guy in the corner, and off the objective. The only one left near the point now is Evan, and Sir Epic Goose gets taken down. Here comes the blade, now out from Brainiac, ends up taking... Nope, doesn't end up getting much of anything, unfortunately, as Kiwi taking down Brainiac in the backline, not even scared of that blade, just staring down that blade and saying, "You will pass through the iris."
A little bit of duel going on. It looks like Arrow's going to take out a Stutter.
Yup, that's going to be an early pick.
55 seconds left on the clock. The Pepegas have the potential to match or beat Thx4Scrims' timing on the capture.
They can. They do have the Primal ready, and they're coming up on the Dragon Strike as well. It could be enough since they're the only ultimate they have coming online for Thx4Scrims is the Ooh, and that's an early pick. Make that 2. Primal Rage already coming out, as well as the Dragon Strike, looking to do some damage as the B-Drop comes in from Winsander. Brainiac able to follow up on Nano Patrol as Prodigy takes down Sir Epic Goose. The payload moving about halfway in, gets the hook, and it takes down Winsander as Arrow follows up on Brainiac and Evan right there. It's the battle of the Genjis right now as Nesteel follows up on the 22 guy. Prodigy currently sleeping their way on the stairs, but doesn't have to worry about it too much. The whole hog coming out from Nesteel, looking to do some damage. Here comes the blade out from Arrow, as well as the Transcendence. Make that a Nano Blade. Triple kill from Arrow, looking to clean up the objective right there. 22 guys swapping over to the Zarya, but will be unaffected. And with about 45 seconds extra, they will grab objective number 1, and Arrow comes after the objective is taken, gets tackled by a Nano Rhine. Oof. So this is a spicy match, Dr. Ethan.
Yeah, so we're gonna flip back around. Thx4Scrims will be back on the attack, and interested to see, since there's 2 minutes on the clock, if the Pepegas will go for a bunker composition, because if it's not expected and it gets thrown out, it takes a long time to swap to the composition and build up what you need to take it out, usually. Barring a Hanzo on the high ground that no one can see for some reason. The fact that they're on the Baptiste kind of indicates that they're going to do that, especially they have the...
Yep, there we go.
Yep.
There comes the Bastion. Kiwi's gonna... They're on the defense. You can't be making all these swaps right now. You don't have a minute. You don't have a minute anymore.
They're going to be set up with like 8
that's
seconds remaining. It's going to be fine.
Alrighty.
But
Well, it looks like they're going for the 2-2 with Prodigy and the Steel on the Rhine Hog, which is
And they got the
unusual.
Baptiste.
Usually you want the Orisa Hog for this. I'm wondering if they're wanting to use the benefit of the Shatter to shut down the dive. Maybe that's
I think
what
they
they're
just
going for.
I think they just have faith in Nasteel's Hog. He's been doing pretty well this match.
Oh, absolutely. The hooks have been absolutely on point. I wish we had a way to get a percentage on that. But let's go ahead and get into the action. 1:45 seconds on the clock as we already see Thx4Scrims moving their way into the objective. Evan ends up getting the hook from Nasteel right there, almost getting shut down immediately, but is able to translocate away. Nano for show ends up taking down Stutter as Brainiac takes down Nano in return, and the rest comes in for Stutter. That makes it a 5v6 fight on the objective as Evan trying to get the hack ends up getting and Brainiac ends up taking down Arrow, but Evan falls to Nasteel, and Brainiac follows up on Eero. It is now a 3v5. Make that 0v5 on the 1v5 rather on the objective. Nasteel trying to hold on, but too much damage allows them to take the objective with about 1 minute on the clock.
Yeah, and we see some swaps coming out from the defense. Kiwi swapping off the Baptiste onto the Zenyatta. This is something we're more used to seeing, but we have the triple DPS lineup once again. This seems to be something that they're favoring on this point because double snipers, you got the good sight lines, and Nasteel can heal himself anyways. It's going to leave Prodigy a little bit exposed, and I feel like that's what happened last time as well.
Brainiac going to get Storm Arrowed as the Shatter comes down for Prodigy. Nano ends up taking down Winxander as Air 22 guy. Epic Goose using the Primal to take down Arrow, but it's not going to be enough. That was a lot of ultimates burned at the beginning of that fight as Nasteel ends up taking down Epic Goose because they still got enough time for one push with 10 seconds left on the clock. And the payload just barely passed the choke point right there. The 22 guy coming in to try to secure the objective right there as they go ahead and start pushing the payload a little bit further in. Overtime going to take away as Nasteel and Nano for show take down the Far Mercy. The Nano coming in onto Epic Goose looking to get a kill. As Stutter gets taken down by Nasteel. As Nano for show taking down Epic Goose with the Storm Arrow. The Trans gets popped by Kiwi, keeping everybody up in the fight, and Prodigy will follow up on the 22 guy to end the fight. Brainiac ends up coming in with the barrage, but gets shut down. What? Nasteel shut down. Nasteel shut down, therefore, with a punch in the middle of a barrage.
Well, I mean, it's during slow-mo.
But it's still like, what? It's just like, whoa. It just amazes me. I'm just a little schoolgirl right now with amazement. So 2 minutes, 48 seconds now for the Pepegas to gain objective 1 and move into a very early objective 2. Now we're going to see that bunker comp come out once again. The question is, will they be able to shut it down earlier than we saw on the attack? Because if I remember correctly, they only had... It took them a couple of minutes.
They captured it really fast.
Did they?
Yeah, I remember the Hanzo fighting on the high ground.
No, I did, but it took them a lot of time to set that up, if I remember
like a
correctly.
minute. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it took longer than... maybe it took less time than I thought it did. Either
Considering
way...
they capped 3 points in 5 minutes and 12 seconds.
Okay, I get what you're saying there. 2 minutes, 48 seconds. Can they set this up quickly, or will they be able to do better this time around? That may be why they have Brainiac on the Junkrat this time around, to prevent them from moving into that backline so easily. It looks like they're going to go ahead and move their way in. Same comp as before, nevermore. Prodigy already getting ready to lose that shield as they move over to the side. Eero just jumping across, trying to keep their way up as they move onto the high ground. Prodigy ends up taking down the trap that's in the back line right there. As we see everyone move to the inside right there, we're going to see the objective already. First tick with the split right there. We're going to see Nesteel trying to get the hook right there, but it ends up getting it onto Epic Goose. Evan follows up on Eero as Nano Pasho and Nesteel take down Sir Epic Goose and Stutter. Brainiac getting the concussion mine onto Nano as we see Arrow in the back line right there trying to take down Brainiac, but will be unsuccessful as Evan takes down Arrow and Brainiac follows up with the passive to take down the steal.
One thing I want to touch on is Kiwi had, I think, a brilliant spot for the Immortality Field. He threw it onto the rooftop, so it popped up into a spot where Bastion couldn't see it, and it still was able to get line of sight on characters who were jumping around like Genji. And characters who are playing towards the edge.
Oh, well, here comes the tire out from Brainiac. Ends up shutting down Nano Pasho early in this fight as the Immortality Field gets shut down from Evan. Arrow building. Ore has that blade up and ready to go, as well as Eero's Nano. So all they got to do is make sure that Immortality Field is down. And I got to be honest with you, I think this is going to be a dine and dash scenario. Arrow's gonna go in, eat their fill with that Nano Dragon Blade, and it's gonna be over. Here comes the Amplification Matrix. Not for certain. Oh, Dragon Strike! There it comes! And the Nano Blade in the back line! That's gonna shut everything down! The bunker gets shut down! Windsander comes in with the res and is successful, but gets taken down by Nesteel as Arrow follows up on Sir Epic Goose. That's a team kill! And with 30 seconds left on the clock, they've got 43 meters to push into Objective 2, and they're already almost halfway there. Can they do it successfully?
The gate's gonna stop them, though. The enemy has time to reset, and they only dropped Valkyrie in the last fight.
But it's still a 2v2. Oh, that's going to be an early pick as the bongos come out. Shutter comes out with the Amplification Matrix as well. Ends up shutting down the Immortality Field. Nesteel coming in the back line. Uses the whole hog. Takes down two. The Deep Bomb comes down for the 22 guy. Doesn't get him. Here comes the Shatter. They're not going to be able to follow up on it. We're going to... Oh, my goodness. This may actually happen. They may actually be able to shut this down. It is a 6v3 fight on the objective, but they do have the spawn advantage as Nano Pasho shuts down the Immortality Field. Evan comes in with smoke bombs, shutting down Nano Pasho and Eero. And Kiwi gets shut down by Epic Goose. Trying to hold on to the objective. Arrow gets punched by Epic Goose. Overtime ticking away right now as Prodigy and Nesteel currently the only tanks touching the objective. Take down Evan. Sir Epic Goose ends up following up on Prodigy as Nesteel falls to 22 guy. And oh my god! Thx4Scrims will walk into the semifinals with a victory here on Eichenwald. Whoa! I did not see that coming.
I feel like that might have just been an overcommitment to this fight here that we're watching.
I believe so. I can agree there because they didn't really have the ultimates to... Well, I think it ended up coming down to the fact that they had to commit that much to that fight because they knew how much it was going to take to shut that down. Could they have used just the Dragon Strike and been all right? Possibly, but they wanted to be more certain that they could get that. I think they may have forgotten what I forgot, which you pointed out, Dr. Heathen, is the fact that the door slows you down. And they were able to get reset up, and wow, I just could not, that just blows my mind right there that they were able to take that away. So go ahead in the chat, start blowing it up with who you all want your players of the match to be this evening. Dr. Heathen, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
That's difficult. I don't think there's a player that played perfectly. I think at one point or another, just about everybody got caught out of position or died in a kind of embarrassing way, or could have been a little bit more observant. But when it comes down to it, I think Sir Epic Goose would be the player that I would be happiest to have on my team if I were playing, and I think he's going to be my player of the game. He was on the Winston. He had some really well coordinated dives, picked apart the backline on a number of occasions on the Winston. And I feel like the team was just playing around his Winston play, and that's why they kept committing to this dive composition.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. Sir Epic Goose was leading the way with that continued dive composition, even for the rare times that they did swap over to a more traditional composition, was doing an incredible job on the Rhine, trying to shut down Prodigy, who was doing an incredible job on the Pepegas and was kind of being outplayed at times. But I also have to give my player of the match to Sir Epic Goose. You were absolutely epic, sir. Absolutely epic. So that's going to be it for us here at the Rose League. We hope you enjoyed this match between the Pepegas and Thx4Scrims. Thx4Scrims going to be moving on to the semifinals. That is definitely a Cinderella story if I've ever seen one. 4th seed able to take down 2nd seed coming back, and we'll move on to the semifinals. Do we happen to know who they're going to be up against? Have we had that match yet? I have to check.
Yes, that's crazy.
That's crazy. So we're going to be seeing next week in the or later this week rather, in the semifinals, we're going to see That's Crazy versus Thx4Scrims Esports. So go ahead and tune in to that match later on this week. With that being said, that's it for us here at the Rose League. Thank you, Sora, for producing this match for us. I'm Captain Jack.
And I've been Heathen.
And we'll see y'all next time.